Good morning, everybody. This is Ganesh. So we can start our session after a few minutes. So all of you, please mute yourself. Don't try to create any type of the disturbance in the class. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. This is Ganesh. So now we can start our session. First of all, is it my voice is audible to everyone or not? Please respond, anyone. Is it my voice is audible to everyone or not? At the same time, so are you able to see the screen? At least you can respond through message. Send me able to unmute yourself. So please try to send one message. Yeah, someone is giving. Thank you. Thank you, 86. And thank you, 72. Okay, now we can start our session. We are discussing about so what is a Dbms. Okay, so just only we are giving the introduction about to this. Okay, please just wait a 1 minute. Okay, okay. So in the last classes we are discussing about what is a database management system. Okay, so now in this class also we try to discuss about the same thing, and we try to forward the same topics. But better we try to skip one more, so we try to move fast. Okay, so first of all, what is a database? So our subject is database management system. So in the last, so that's why I'm repeating the same thing, so up to 5 minutes. Okay, so first of all, what is a database? So database is a nothing but collection of interrelated data. Okay, so database means nothing but a collection of interrelated data that can be managed into the tables. So that means when we are collecting some data, and the data can be managed into the tables according to the user requirement. So that means user requirement means maybe, so user requirement is either storing the data or maybe retrieving the data, right? So according to the requirement of the user, so which type of data is required to the user, only that type of data is delivered to the user by the database. We try to see. So database is a collection of data typically describing the activities of one or more related organizations. For example, maybe here we are consider example, university database might contain information about the following things. So that means, for example, so when we are maintaining so where we are maintaining the lot of data, so at that location, so we are based upon to the database. Example, we are consider our university. So we also know about what is an university, what are the functionalities of university. Okay, so which type of information is maintained by the university, am right? So for example, we are consider the university. So in that university here we are consider the entities. So those type of entities, so nothing but students, faculty, courses, and classrooms, college information, am right? So, and here we try to draw the relationship between students, faculty, courses, and classrooms also. So, when we are consider that, so at that location, it should be based upon the data management system, because we are easily retrieving the data according to the our requirement. Am right? So another thing is, so just to try to see, so what is a DBMS? So DBMS is a software designed to assist maintaining, utilizing the large collections of data. The need for the systems as well as their use is being rapidly. So that means here, so we consider DBMS is one of the software and provides the easier user, and it will be giving the which type of data is required to the user. That data is delivered to the end user with the help of small so that will be solving the problem of the user. So the main advantage database management system. Another thing is DBMS system which allows inserting, deleting database. The primary goal of the DBMS is provide a way of to store and retrieve the database information that and efficient. Okay, I hope my voice is audible to everyone. Is it right? So please respond again once. So try to send another message. Is it my voice? Okay. think my voice is not properly reached to you. So please try to check once. So is it my voice is audible now clearly? May I continue my session? May I continue my session? Please respond through chat box. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So in the last class also we are discussing about what is a Dbms. I think we are already doing some practice in the lab session also, and I'm already giving some YouTube links in our group. So better you try to watch those type of videos in the whatever it may be. I'm providing in the link, provide in the group. Okay, why? Because so those are the practice sessions. So we should be having the comments. We should be having the grip on the DDL commands and DML commands. Okay, so if you know about these commands, so then we will be easily get the marks in the exam point of view. Why? Because so that will be used for know about our knowledge and another thing. So in the exam point of view also it will be covered, and in the practice session also it will be covered. So better you try to watch those type of videos again and again. Better. Okay, so not only that, so better you try to watch what is the DDL, what is the DML, what are the queries, how you are applying that, and I will send you the link also. So how we are download that software and how we are using the software in your home. Okay, I will send you the link after some time. Okay, maybe I will try to post the link tomorrow. Okay, so and I will explain how we are downloading that software also. So and another thing, here the database functionality can be achieved through different types of softwares. So maybe like SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL. Okay, so and different types of databases, Oracle. So these type of softwares are used to maintain the database functionality. So if you are observe here, database plus management system equal to DBMS. So that means, so database means nothing but the collection of data. Management system means according to our requirement, we can retrieve the data. So whatever it may be the requirement. So like maybe the insertion of the data, or maybe deletion of the data, or maybe updation of the data, or maybe creating the data. So whatever it may be the requirement of the user. So that will be possible through, so and it will be providing easier interactions, so need not generating lengthy of the codes to performing the operations. So simply we write only single line of the query, so that will be used to solve the problem. I think you are observed in the last classes. Why? Because our last session is lab session. So in that lab session we are creating the student table. How we are creating the student table? By using SQL. So create command, am I right? So I think you are already familiar with that command now. So how we are using that create table, table name, and field name, data type. Okay, in that type of way we can create our required number of fields. Am I right? So so then we can easily creating the table. Now we try to insert the values into that created table. So how we are giving the values to the table? So insert into table name values. So and open the parenthesis, and we try to give the values. So if it is a string or maybe character format, so then we try to enclose it within the single quotes. Otherwise, if it is a numeric, so we can simply giving the input. For example, maybe, so we try to how we are creating the student table in the last class. Create table, table name. So that means student. So open the parenthesis. So for example, my requirement is only student number and student name. Okay, so then, so create table, table name is student. So open the parenthesis, test number, data type indices, so data type indices, so data type indices, data type indices, data type float, to select our required data type. Right? So here, so we can consider any type of the data type. So for example, serial number is nothing but integer, so int. So s name, so that means nothing but student name is nothing but varchar of 10. So now I close the parenthesis, then the output is table created. So how we are creating the values to that created table now? Insert into table name. So what's the table name here? Student values. So open the parenthesis 1 comma student name. For example, my name Ganesh. Okay, then I close the parenthesis. Then the output is one row created. So that means simply we are inserting the data. At the same time, we can update the update the existing data also. For example, if the number is not a 1, so for example, if the number is 11, then how can we can change that number? By using update command. So update table name student, set field name. So that means s number equal to 11, where s name equal to Ganesh. So then simply, so just we try to write the only single line of the query will be solve the problem. Am I right? So here different types of versions. So Oracle, Microsoft Access 2000, Fox and Paradox, Borland, Dbms, and Oracle, SQL, MySQL. So these type of the things will be used for to maintaining the database functionality. So where we are using the database, so we can use anywhere. So many applications based upon to the database management system. Am I right? So that means where we are maintaining the lot of data, then definitely we will be we should be based upon to the database functionality. So in the real time also we are based upon so many applications. For example, maybe consider the banking system. So if you are consider the banking system, each and every customer having one bank account. So that bank account number will be used to retrieve the data of that particular customer. So how much of balance is maintained there? Okay. So what are the transactions? Whether the amount is deposited or maybe debited. So might be how much, how many types of loans are maybe existed for that particular customer. So like this. So there are so many customers are there, and we can consider here so many employees are there, and so many schemes are there. So we can easily retrieve that particular customer among number of customers. So how it's possible? By using the database management system. In the same way, universities. So when our results are maybe out, then we can easily see our result. I'm right. At a time, more number of users accessing the same database. So that is also one of the application. In the same way, airline reservation, railway reservation, finance, telecommunications, sales, credit card transaction, human resource, whatnot. So we can consider any one of the application. So we can use so many. We can use the database management functionality in so many areas. Am I right? Okay, so first of all, this is our first topic. So that is file system versus Dbms. Okay, file system versus Dbms. So what is a file system? So what is the need of file system? So why we are not using the file system? First of all, we try to know what is a file. File is nothing but a collection of records or to maintain the data. So in the previous days, before using the database management system, we are based upon to the files to storing the data. So what are the operations of the files? Either we are creating the files, open the files, updating the files, deletion the files, right? But each and every operation of the file that is based upon to the execution of the program. So that means whenever the program will be executed by the system, and after performing the compilation and running of the program only, the data will be stored into the particular file. So at this time of situation, we are not able to retrieve our required data on that particular time. So that is the main drawback of the file system. But if you are consider what is a file means, this is a one of the secondary storage device. So we also know about so what is a primary storage and what is the secondary storage. What is the main difference? So which type of devices are directly attached to the CPU? So that type of devices are referred as primary storage. For example, maybe main memory, okay, cache. So these are the registers. So these are the primary memory. We also know about this. So what is the meaning of secondary storage? Which type of devices are not directly connected to the CPU? So those are nothing but secondary storage device. In other words, so which is maintained the permanent. So then we are not able to performing the existing data. So that is nothing but permanent data storage is also known as secondary storage device. So one of the secondary storage device is nothing but a file. So we can consider database management system and file system. So how we can store and retrieve and manipulate the data. Okay, in the previous days, we are based upon the file processing approach. In the exam point of view, this is the very, very important question. Why? Because so without asking this question, maybe the question paper is not appeared in our examinations. Why? Because so this is the most important. So in the exam point of view, maybe the same question is asking different types of ways. For example, maybe how the database will be overcome the drawbacks of file processing approach. This is the one type of way. Another type of way, what are the advantages of DBMS? And another type of way, what are the drawbacks of file processing system? So in the direct way, so compare the file system and DBMS. So whatever it may be the question, a way of asking the question, but answer is the same. In the exam point of view, you should be having the type of awareness. So how you we write the answer first of all. Why? Because this subject is very easy. So that's why asking in different types of formats. The same question will be asking in different types of ways. So maybe, for example, maybe asking the question, not asking like this. What is your name? So maybe asking. So how you refer with the pupil? Okay. So like this. So that means indirect way of the asking the questions oftenly chance in the examination point of view. So first of all, we try to discuss what is a file system. Okay, file system is a collection of raw data files stored in the hard drive, whereas DBMS is a bundle of applications that is dedicated for managing data stored in the databases. So that means here, first of all, saying about what is a file. So file is nothing but a collection of records, and these records maintaining about the data, and the collection of raw data files stored in the hard drive. So that means file system will be stored into the hard drive. So that means this is one of the storage of secondary storage device. So that means this is the permanent data storage. But in the case of DBMS, it is a bundle of applications that is dedicated for managing data stored in databases. So that means the main purpose of DBMS is nothing but maintaining the data. Okay, and another thing is it is integrated system used for managing digital databases, which allows the storage of database content creation, maintenance of data, search, and other functionalities. So this is only saying about the DBMS. Okay, both the systems can be used to allow the users to work with the data similar way. A file system is one of the earliest ways of managing data. So that means before using the database application, we are based upon the file system. But due to the shortcomings present in using file system to store electronic data, database management system came into the use some time later as they provide mechanism to solve those problems. So that means in the previous days we are based upon to the file processing approach to storing the data. So nowadays we are based on the database only. Okay, but it should be noted that even in DBMS data are eventually stored in some sort of files. Okay, so now we try to discuss some of the differences. Okay, so what are the drawbacks of the file processing system? So those are the advantages of DBMS. Simply we try to remember like this. Okay, so the main what is the definition of database management system? The collection of interrelated data can be managed into the tables according to the user requirement. So maybe that user requirement is inserting the data, deleting the data, updating the data, or maybe creating the data, whatever it may be. So those type of operations are easily done by the user. So the type of the facilities provided by the DBMS to the end users. But in the case of file processing approach, the type of the thing is not possible. Why? Because each and every time only the programmers or maybe the developers only interacting with this file system. Okay, so here the main thing is, as I said, we have some interface. That interface will be easily interconnected with the user to performing their requirement operations. Okay, so that is the main thing. But in the case of file processing approach, programming knowledge. So without programming knowledge, the users not easily accommodate with the software. So that's the problem. So if you are observe some here, so that is the first one is data redundancy. Redundancy means nothing but the duplication of data. So when we are maintaining the file processing approach, so here maybe the chance of occurring redundant data. Why? Because we don't know which type of data is stored into the files. So that means here we are not able to compare. So how up to how much of data is we are maintaining the files, and which type of data is stored into the files now. So that type of the thing is not possible in the case of file processing approach. But in the case of database management system, before saving the data into the before saving the data into the tables, we can verify so whether that type of data is existed or not. Okay, so that type of the thing is possible in the database management system. So here in the file processing approach occurring the problem is data redundancy. So in FMS, so FMS means nothing but file management system. Okay, in file management system, as various copies of same data resides, the same information is duplicated in several files, indicating the redundancy. So waste copies of data, so that means here higher storage and access cost. So that means when we are maintaining redundant data in the files, then we can't retrieve. So according to our requirement, for example, we want to retrieve some particular member, so we can't retrieve. Why? Because the same type of data is existed in more number of files. So at the time of the situation, we are not easily accessing the data. For example, the address of the customers will be present in the file maintaining the information about the customers holding savings account, and also address of the customers will be present in the file maintaining the current account. Even the same customers having the saving account and current account, his address will be present in two places. So for example, maybe we are consider the banking application. So maybe in that bank we are maintaining the two accounts. So at that place, so at the time of the situation, we need to maintain two locations. So even though it is the same address, but we try to link the same address to the different accounts in a same bank. So that means here we are the same type of thing will be allowed more number of more than one time. So that is also occurring the causes of redundancy. So nothing but duplication of data. But in the case of DBMS, in DBMS, as only one copy of data record resides, the same information may not be duplicated, avoiding the redundancy of data, leading to minimum storage and access cost. So that means here we are reducing the time to retrieving the data, at the same time reducing the storage, so and not increasing the cost. Okay. Second one is data inconsistency. So I think the name is implies here. So occurring the inconsistency when we are using the file processing approach. Why? Because here we need to know about the program execution. So program compilation. So program how we write the program like this. Okay, in file management system, data redundancy leads to greater problem that than just wasting the storage. That is, it may leads to inconsistent data. Same data which has been repeated several places may not matter after it has been updated after some places. So that means here when we are allowing the same type of data in more number of one location, so then we are not able to retrieve our according to our requirement. Okay, so DBMS related data resides in the same storage location, minimizing the data inconsistency. So next one is difficulty in accessing data. In file management system, generated ADHOC reports and the programs will not already be present, and only options present will to write new program to generate requested report to work manually. So this is going to take impractical time and will be more expensive. For example, maybe so we are facing some problem now. So then how we are changing the problem? So before changing the problem, so better we try to do the manual way, or maybe we try to interact with the developers to solve that problem. In the case of file processing approach, why? Because we try to change our conditions. Okay, so that means here each and every user should be having the programming knowledge. So without programming knowledge, any one of the user not easily interacting with the file processing approach. That is also the problem. So next one is the data isolation. So that is the name is implies here. Isolation means nothing but separation. Okay, here data is separated in different types of places. So we can't combine according to our requirement. So at this time of situation, maybe the chance of occurring the loss of data. So in the file management system, data is scattered into different formats. So that means even though we try to maintain the same type of data, so that type of data will be stored into the different types of files, and also stored into the different types of locations, and we can't combine into a single file when the particular situation is needed. Okay, it is a difficult to write new programs to retrieve to the appropriate data. So that means at any time of the situation, these scattered files we are able to not able to combining the single data. So that is also one of the problem. Okay, for example, suppose the address in saving account have 5 fields. So address line 1, address line 2, city, state, pin. While the fields are address state pin, administrator is asked to provide list of customers. So living in a particular locality. So providing consolidated list of the customers will requiring looking both files, but they both have different way of storing the address. Writing program to generate the list is difficult. So that means here we are not able to accessing the data easily. So why? Because here we are not able to consolidate. So when we are consider a lot of data, if we are performing some updations, then also we are not able to performing easily, and we are not able to retrieving the data easily. Okay, in DBMS, as data resides in same storage location, that is related files in different groups. It is easy to write new programs to retrieve the appropriate data. So that means even though the storing data is stored into the different types of places, but we are storing into the only one location. But here we are able to combine. So those type of different here the data can be managed into the tables. Am I right? So in the case of database management system, we are maintaining the data into different types of tables. So now these type of tables we can combine into a single table. So whenever the particular requirement is needed. Okay. So and another one is the integrity problems. So integrity problems means we can't change according to our requirement. So that means if it is allows new type of changes according to the user. So that type of the thing will be hello. Yeah. Hello, ఎవరు?
నేను సోమవారం సార్.
Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So here occurring the integrity problems also. So up to now we are discussing some of the profile. So redundant type of data is occurred. Okay. So just to try to see one by one now. So in the case of first problem, so data redundancy is occurred. So when we are based upon to the file processing approach, so it means duplication of data is occurred. So another one is data inconsistency. So we are not easily accessing the data. So nothing but inconsistency. So another one is the third one, difficult in accessing the data. So why? Because here, so we are not having the programming knowledge. So another one, data isolation. So when we are storing some data into the files, so the data will be stored into the different types of locations. So that's why we can't merge into a single type of data according to our requirement. And the fifth one is integrity problems. If you are observed here, in file management system to develop the new consistent range in the existing system, the appropriate code must be added into various application problems. For example, maybe so we are consider some banking application. So in banking application, maybe so changing some condition. So that is each and every customer should be maintained the minimum balance is 1,000. So then what is our option? Either we try to intimate every user through either phone or maybe directly contact the particular customer. So that is the one of the way. And second type of way is we try to interact with the programmers. So and we try to insert our new condition into the real-time application. Interacting with the problem is if we want to change the condition, the whatever may be the it will be consumes a lot of time to insert new conditions into the existing data. Okay, so but in the case of database management system, so we can simply changing the condition in the query. So we need not to interact the developers or maybe the programmers for each and every time. So we need not to interact further, even though it is a small problem. Okay. So that means integrity problems means nothing but problems means nothing but we are not able to easily insert our new conditions. So are some new changes into the existing data. So that is nothing but integrity problems. And another one is the concurrent access. So I think the name is implies concurrent access means wherever more than one user accessing the same type of database at a time, then need concurrent access. So that means, for example, maybe nowadays maybe more than one user access at a time on the same database. For example, railway reservation. So railway reservation, so many customers or maybe so many persons or users so interacting the same type of database at a time to reserving the train. So that's why, so maybe we are see the waiting list for each and every train. So why that situation here? What is the reason for that particular situation is happened? So why? Because here, so many users accessing at a time. So that's the problem. Am I right? So, but in the case of file browsing approach, the type of option is not there. So we can't access so many members at a time. If we are allowing so many users at a time, so then there is no chance of security. Why? Because occurring the chance of data loss. So if the data is lost, then there is no need to discuss about that application. Am I right? So here, so there is no way to allowing more than one user to access the data. So in the case of file processing management system, when more than one user are allowed to access the database, if one user accessing multiple data element at about the same time, then it may result into irreversible data loss. So that means it will not giving the accurate data. So in the case of file processing approach, we are not able to allow more than one user at a time. Okay. And another one is the most I will try to send this material in your group after the completion of this unit or maybe this topic. So you want to notice I'm also respond anyone please. Are you able to see the screen? And is my voice is audible to everyone? Respond anyone please. Is it my voice is audible? Thank you. Thank you. So now I continue my session now. So up to now we are discussing about different types of problems in the file processing approach, like maybe redundant data is occurred. So inconsistent data is there, and data isolation is there. Accessing the data is difficult. Okay, we can't insert our new conditions. Okay, and another thing, we are not able to allow more than one user at a time. And another thing is the atmosity. So atmosity means here consider either all operations or not consider any one of the operation. So that means each and every operation should be atomic. And another thing is, in the case of database management system, here each and everything will be treated as a one of the transaction. So if you are book some particular item in the your Flipkart or maybe Snapdeal or maybe Amazon, so then immediately we receive some message. So that message is your transaction ID is like this. So that means in the case of database, each and everything will be identified by a transaction. For example, if you are depositing some money in the bank, so then also we are having some transaction ID. So this is the unique thing to retrieve our particular operation among number of operations. So this is the one of the unique thing. Okay. So if you observe here, Atmosity in the file processing management system, on subject to the failure of computer system, it is crucial to ensure that the processing data are restored and that consistent state that exists prior to the failure or not. So change must be atomic. It must be happen entirely or not at all. Okay. So that means in some type of situation during the execution of uh, transactions or maybe the execution of database management system functionality, so maybe occurring some problem. So maybe that is not completed, but some of the portion is completed. So at that moment of the situation, if you are consider that, so then occurring the inconsistent data. So that's why if that is completely completed, then only we try to consider, otherwise we are not considered that. So that is nothing but atomosity. If you are observe here in dbms, on the subject to the failure of the computer system, the software ensures that processing data are restored that to the consistent state that exists prior to the failure, that is change does not happen at all. So that means here, so in some type of situations maybe occurring the loss of data due to the causing of hardware failures or maybe the software failures. So at that moment of the situation we need to record the data. So that is also possible when we are maintaining the atmosphere. And the last one is security. So in the file processing management system, we can provide the accessing the file, and the third is performing file. So actually this is one of the point but in the case of database management system, we can provide the some only we can allow the some list of authorized users only. So that means unauthorized users not able to accessing the data. So that means each and every user identified by username and password, and these users created by database man and database administrator. Okay. So and we can give the permissions to the users also. So that means read permission, write permission, execute permission, like this. So for example, if the results are maybe released from the university, so many users are so many students, so accessing the same type of database to view the result at a time and to access the particular university database, am right? So at the time of the situation, these students having the permission only read permission. So that's why they are accessing the data, but they can't able to change the data. So that means even though we are allow more than one user at a time, so we are maintaining the security. And another thing here, each and every user having the username and password. Okay. So in the file processing management system, database should be protected from the unauthorized users. So every user should not be allowed to access the every data, since application programs are added to the system. For example, the payroll personnel in the bank should not be allowed to access accounts information of the customers. In DBMS, as a security property, every user of DBMS is able to access only needed data and strictly not allowing the accessing all the data. So that means up to now we are discussing about different types of drawbacks of the file processing agent. We just try to see one by one. So the first one is redundant data is occurred. So data is and the advantage based upon the file processing approach to maintain the data. Okay. So in how which type of operations are performed in the files, creating the files, open the files, generating the files, updating the files. Okay. But each and every operation of the file is based upon to the execute programs. So this type of approaches mainly used with the programs only. So that means here end users not easily communicating with the software. So main problem is data redundancy. So that means here we are having the same type of data stored in number of files. So it will be leads to the high errors. So and maybe the cost and not able to retrieve the data easily. So it will provide the data inconsistency. So when we need particular data easily, and that's why we are I will give you the chance to unmute yourself. So if you're having any type of the member is having the doubt, so you can ask me now. So otherwise we can end the session today. And one more thing, so you should be attend the every class without fail. And if you are asking any question for the particular member during the class, you are the responsible, and you try to respond in that particular time. So otherwise, we are not giving the attendance for that particular member. Okay, please remember this. And better you try to follow the class. If you're having any type of the doubts, so you can ask me personally also. So I will try to answer you in the so you can ask me either through WhatsApp or maybe direct call. So I don't mind about that. If I'm free, so I will respond to everyone. Okay. If you're having any type of the problem, you can message me, and I will try to post the material after the completion of this unit. Okay. If any member is having any type of the problem, you can respond. Otherwise, we can end the session. So just to only today we are discussing about what is a database management system, what are the applications of database. Okay, and the main thing. So in the exam point of view, so the today topic is very important. So that is nothing but, so what are the drawbacks of file processing approach compared with the DBMS? Okay, may I end the session today now? Okay, if you're having any type of the problems, you can contact me personally also. No problem. Okay. So, may I end the session? Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.